Hey guys, my name is Ryan.
And my name is Miska.
And welcome to Overwatch Central. So we like to talk about which heroes you should learn in order to climb the ranks in competitive. The heroes that with enough work in the depths of ELO hell will bring you out of it eventually, and also be useful at the top tiers. Well, in today's video we wanted to go over some statistics and pick rate stats of heroes that as you get higher in the likes of Diamond Master and GM will actually start to diminish in popularity, in some cases completely. I do want to be really clear before we get started, we're not saying that these heroes are completely unplayable at the top level. In fact, some of these have some solid reasons surrounding why their popularity might dwindle, such as other heroes being better at that level, but whilst life can be trickier on these heroes the higher you climb, we are definitely not saying it's impossible to play these heroes at a top 500 level. We'll provide examples as we see fit. We basically don't want to say any of these heroes are goddamn terrible. We just want to highlight the higher you climb, the less likely you are to see these heroes, compared to other ranked tiers.
In this video we mostly speak from our own ranked experience, as well as referring to the pro meta a little bit. We do also want to highlight Omnic Meta, a website with some great information on hero pick rates across tiers and really shows what we mean incredibly well, so big shout out to those guys for all this info. We speak a lot about how good Ana is, and that can be shown with this graph on how she ramps up in popularity as you climb. But in this video in particular we're looking for the opposite. We want to see the heroes whose pick rate drops as we climb each tier, and we start with Reaper. A fairly obvious one to begin with, but I promise you some of these other heroes you may really not expect to be on this list. Reaper has some fairly decent popularity across the lower tiers, but once you hit Masters, the rate of Reapers really decreases. Even the likes of Mei and Sombra have higher pick rates around this level. We've spoken about Reaper in the past and highlighted how lackluster he currently feels. His damage output is quite amazing up close, but it's easily dealt with when his Wraith form is on cooldown. We're not massive fans of complete reworks really, but Reaper is in a very tricky spot right now.
Reinhardt's popularity overall is fairly stagnant. Most people are kinda used to just seeing a Reinhardt constantly, and certainly in the levels of silver and gold, players like to pick him up because they know how important he is into a team. Diamond and Masters, there isn't much of a drop off, and when you get to Masters and GM, you lose about 10 to 15% going from the Omnic Meta statistics that they got. Now as time's gone on, I've certainly realised myself that you don't always need to run a Reinhardt. For example, Winston is a tremendous pick in a lot of situations, especially with triple DPS dive being the main composition that the pros like to run, so it would make sense at the highest tiers that they would run it here as well. But even then, the likes of Roadhog, Zarya and even D.Va are gaining more popularity, and players want to feel that they're having an effect when it comes to kill confirming, and Reinhardt isn't the best at that. Sure, he can mitigate a lot of damage and has an amazing ult, but it's definitely not unlikely to see a team that maybe has a D.Va Zarya or D.Va Roadhog tank composition even before you get to the likes of Winston working in those compositions as well. He's certainly not the must pick that players thought he was a couple of seasons ago, but it is worth noting the higher you get, the more you probably want to get Winston in your hero pool.
Next up is Zen. The drop isn't anything considerable compared to other heroes, but it still diminishes. I mean, if we look at the Ana graph, you pretty much understand why, or what is happening at least. Ana is just much more popular. We had a video going over D2 in much more detail just recently, but because of how dominant Ana was in the past, players just prefer playing her. Not to mention the nano boost is a great synergy combo in higher tiers. Zen is also just a little bit more susceptible to being dunked by a dive comp, which is incredibly popular at the top tiers. Saying that, Zenyatta is getting a lot of love and attention in the pro scene as well though, when running triple DPS dive and that sort of stuff. And whilst the drop in popularity is there, we kind of feel like Zenyatta's popularity is always going to strain against the likes of Ana somewhat at least. We might see a minor rise for Zen though in the future, as he's now being picked up a little bit more by the pros.
Penultimately we have Pharah, a hero that's kind of gone against the grain a lot recently. Soldier has been a tremendous pick for any DPS players, so it wouldn't make sense for Pharah to really be strong in the meta. Now of course we know a great Pharah player ourselves, Valkyria, that currently sits at the top 500 and plays one of the best Pharahs around really. The pros like to pick her up as well, especially in pharmacy compositions, but it definitely is worth noting that there is a strong slope down after Platinum for Pharah. Now this again has to do with how popular and strong she is in the gold tiers, where aiming isn't necessarily as good as it is in higher tiers, so players can make much more advantage out of her. However, as you climb, the harder it will be just up those hit scans, those divas, and even like Widowmakers taking you out of the air completely. Your movement needs to be on point, and you need to make sure that you can contain the hit scan heroes as much as you possibly can. It does feel like she's still climbing in popularity, but it's still not the most strongest pick when it comes to Grandmaster and Master Play. You have to be tremendously good at her to make use out of it.
And finally, we have Mercy, and this certainly isn't just a drop because Mercy is just a bad hero. It's more about preference and what type of compositions and other heroes are run right now. As we said at the start of the video, this doesn't mean that it's impossible to play Mercy at a GM or top 500 level. Animatic and of course EVA are perfect examples of incredible Mercy players, but the hero does run into some problems. Similar to Zen, Mercy's position really contests with the likes of Ana and Lucio at this level. Lucio's gameplay also becomes fairly important compared to previous tiers. Not only that, but Mercy can really get punished by DPS players that know where she is and if she has her ultimate or not. Dragon Blades, Tac Visors and so on will all aim for Mercy first if they can, and sometimes it's not worth the risk of having a hero with such a strong ultimate to go down constantly to the DPS. With Pharah also being a hero that does drop off slightly in GM, Pharmacy is a combo that doesn't see as much high ranked play compared to others. The drop from Mercy is the most significant when it comes to the higher tiers, but she still has some of the highest pick rates across all the heroes, if you're just counting all skill tiers. If you play a lot of Mercy, I'm sure you'll be fine, but be prepared that things are gonna get much trickier as you climb the ladder.
And that's it for this time. Thank you very much for watching. Do let us know what you think of the heroes that we've highlighted in this video. Big shout out to Omnic Meta as well. Great way of getting these statistics out to you guys. We definitely recommend you giving our website a look. You can find it in the description below. But like and subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, take care and we'll see you then.